Hello. This video will be about the parts of your instruments. The part we're going to talk about specifically is the top portion of your instrument. Now what I have in front of me is a viola, but many of the parts that you see on this instrument are the same for violin, for cello, for bass. The only difference is some of them may be different sized or a little bit different proportions, but essentially the shape and the function are very similar. So we're going to start all the way at the very top of our instrument. The very top of our instrument has this part right here. This is called the scroll. It has this scroll shape. This is a decorative part of the instrument. Sometimes some makers will make them into dragon heads or lion heads. You might see that scroll a little bit different, but traditionally on 99% of the violins, violas, cellos, or basses you're ever going to see, you're going to have this scroll shape. The scroll is the very top part of this part right here. This is called the peg box. This is where all these pegs, these 4 pegs right here, go into the box and hold on to the strings. So these 4 pegs are what we turn to make the instrument, make the string tighter or looser, thereby making the string higher or lower. So once the string is attached to the peg, it leaves the peg box and goes over this slightly raised area at the very top, right under at the very top of this neck portion. This is called the nut. The purpose of the nut is to raise your strings above the fingerboard so that they don't vibrate against the fingerboard when they move. There's also 4 grooves inside of this nut, on top of this nut, that help space your strings out enough so that they are easy to play one by one. So that is the nut. The strings leave the nut and go all the way down to the body of the instrument, and they go over the top of this black piece of wood right here that goes all the way from the nut down. This is called the fingerboard, and this is where your fingers will push the strings down to change the pitch, hence the fingerboard. Okay, the last section that we have here is this section right here. This is called the neck. This is where we start holding on with the left hand. This is where our thumb makes contact with the back of the neck or the side of the neck, depending on what instrument you play. And this is that section, so that is called the neck. Now, cellos look the very same, but they're just a different size. They're a little bit bigger. Basses are a little bit different. There is a different view. You guys have what's called machine heads, and you can see right here, you have a gearing system and a paddle that turns inside this metal kind of mechanism. That's why they're called a machine head. They're a little bit different than a peg. A peg works by friction. So like you tighten it in and it holds in that way. A machine head works more mechanically. So let's review the different parts of the instrument that we have so far. We have the scroll, we have the pegs, we have the peg box right here. The little raised area right here is called the nut. This long black piece of wood right here is called the fingerboard. And this section is called the neck. Now the only difference is on the basses, they do not have pegs. They have what's called machine heads. Thank you for watching this video.